What does it even mean to go inside and to notice what's happening in there?
Yeah. So what does it mean for you, Bill? If I were to come to you, say you're coming to me for some help, and I said, okay, so let's go inside. What does that look like for you? How do you go inside? And what's the value for you of going inside?
Yeah. First of all, what does it mean to me? Let's start there. What it means to go inside is to take my focus from external to internal. External is still going to be going on. I'm still going to be aware of what's happening externally, but rather than focusing on what's happening out there to explain what I'm experiencing in here, I'm going in here to explain what's going on in here.
So let me ask you this. Is this something that you could have done even, I don't know, 10 years ago? Would you have been able to have the capacity to have these types of conversations with yourself 10 years ago?
Yeah. Did I have the ability in 2003, 20 years ago, to go inside? Yes. I was a real novice at it, though. And what's interesting about that is that I'd already been sober for 21 years.
Not wild.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Sober in a 12-step program, successfully accomplishing what the 12-step program was set out to do, keep me sober for 21 years. And still, I hadn't learned what that even meant yet. I can tell you almost to the moment when it happened. In my first Byron Katie event, I heard Byron Katie from 60 feet away from me on stage saying, "Do you believe everything that you think?" I didn't realize there was an option.
I was thinking, of course you would. You thought it. It must be true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That question asked me, it was an invitation to go inside. I couldn't find the answer out there. I was waiting for her to answer it.
Yeah.
But she just let it sit there. Do you believe everything you think? Now, she continued to talk and do her presentation. She didn't just wait there in silence and let the void take over. But what she did was say, do you believe everything that you think? And from that point on, I went inside. And what was happening out there was like the Peanuts teacher. I didn't understand. I wasn't even paying attention consciously, externally anymore for the first time. When she said, do you believe everything that you think? I went inside and realized, God, yes, I do. And and then I went back outside again and listened to more what she had to say and realized, oh, so what she's saying is, just because I think it doesn't especially mean it's true. I know that's accurate. I know that sometimes I have thoughts and then I find out later that the thoughts weren't accurate. I make an assumption about what somebody meant, for example, about what they said. Somebody says something, I think I know what they meant. I react to that. They say, what are you doing? Why are you reacting that way? Because you said this.
Because you said that, yeah.
But what I meant was, and this was interesting too, this other person would say, that's what I said, but here's what I meant by it. Two things would happen. Oh. And then I would feel embarrassed. Oh, I misunderstood. It didn't get me up to that point, it hadn't got me to question myself. It got me to shame myself.
Yeah.
I'm bad. I'm wrong.
I'm wrong.
Guilty. I reacted that way. It means I'm stupid. And whatever it means, I'm going to suffer over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of the things that would happen. The other thing would be I would defend my position. No, you didn't mean that. I heard what you said. I saw the look on your face. I saw your body language. I know what you meant. And stop lying to me.
Right.
I know I can't trust you because your version of reality, you're trying to rewrite history here, and your version of reality doesn't match mine. I'm going to sever you completely out of my life because I can't trust you. I hate to admit it, but that's who I was, and that's how I thought, and that's how I dealt with what was happening inside of me, was by externalizing it.
I think for me, it was IFS that got me to be able to go inside in this idea of self.
Yep.
Because beforehand, it was like I had this wall that was up. So I could see and sense all the crazy shit that was going on inside, all the parts that were just like, but then my managers were like this persona that they put out. So for me to go inside was a really scary place to go because I didn't understand that I had a self. I didn't understand that there was a way to heal all of this pain, all this trauma that had lived in there for the whole of my life. So I think for me, when it was safe enough for me to trust either my therapist's self at first or mine, that I actually could go inside, And there would be somebody else with me that could handle all of the chaos that was going on in there, all of the crazy thoughts, all of the really strong feelings.
They can handle it.
Originally it was professionals. And even before IFS, I had professionals, but it was still not fully me going inside unless I was in their office and just little bits of work that was able to.
Yeah, here's a little bit of me. What does it mean, professional?
Yeah.
Tell me about
Yes. Tell me. Yeah. Tell me, interpret this for me. And then, okay. And then while you're there interpreting it, can you heal it?
and tell me what to do.
And tell me what to do to heal it.
Tell me
Yes.
some workarounds, because my workarounds are fatiguing me.
Yes.
I'm exhausted.
Yes. I need some different workarounds that are healthier. So for me, it really was this idea of self energy, that I was not going into this really dark, dank cave by myself, that there was a light that was on that could come with me.
So we both had these experiences of being introduced to what's going on inside. For you, it was IFS and initially, and for me, it was Byron Katie initially. And by the way, I was on that path for 12, 13, 14 years before I discovered IFS. So by the time I landed in a therapist room with Brenda, and she did her first IFS session with me, I had the ability to go inside.
Yeah.
And what was also true is that while I had the ability to go inside, I also had protectors that were filtering and guarding. I can go inside, but oh, wait a minute, let's trust this. Can I trust this new process? And now I'm sitting in a therapist office and I'm having similar type feelings about what she's doing, trusting it. That guard, that protector saying, okay, go ahead and answer her questions, but do so in a very guarded, safe way. Don't give her everything. Don't tell her everything. Like, for example, don't tell her that you think this is total bullshit. Because maybe she's got something here, and I really liked her. So when I asked her for some sessions, I asked her for 4 sessions because I was so locked up around this coach training that I'd gotten, convinced that I'd never get another coaching client because I'm a horrible coach. And interestingly, despite my skepticism and that protective part that said, no, you can't trust this. This is like shamanism. It's all made up. It's smoke and mirrors. It's snake oil. It's not going to work. I was so desperate. Combination. I was desperate and I trusted Brenda. And if Brenda thought it was valid, maybe I should give it a chance. And by the 4th session, I no longer believed that I was a shitty coach. I knew that I was in the right profession and that I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was excited about what IFS was doing for me, even though I still didn't understand how and why it worked. I went on, of course, to learn how to do it myself for my clients. So this going inside at first was just really terrifying for me, which is what happened.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
In my 12-step program, I had 9 different sponsors over the course of 35 years. And I think I must have attempted to do at least a dozen 4th steps. Those are inventories. Personal inventories by design have you going inside and exploring what your past experience was so that you can clean that up, complete it, find out where you need to make repairs, amends. And each of my attempts to do a 4th step yielded practically nothing in terms of insight.
Oh, interesting.
Here's an example. After my second marriage ended, and this was 1999, and before the divorce was final, I did an inventory on the marriage. And one of the pieces of doing an inventory is the question, now what's your part? Tell us about your resentments. Okay, here's all my resentments. Tell us about your fears. Here's all my fears. Now take a look at, when I say tell us, there's a 5th step where you tell somebody. Explore, what was your role in this? What was your part? And I swear to God, Allison, the best that I could do with this inventory when it came to what was my role, what was my part in this stuff, I picked her. That's the, other than that, I was complete victim to this.
You were a complete victim, man. You did nothing but pick her.
Evidence that I couldn't go inside. Why are we talking about going inside?
Okay. Fast forward to doing IPES for, I don't know, almost 9 years. I know the value and the joy of that now is that I'm getting to know me I'm getting to know myself. I'm getting to know my parts. I'm gaining their wisdom. I'm understanding why they do what they do. I have a greater appreciation for my own trauma experience and how freaking incredibly strong my parts are, even as children. When I go back in and see what those little kids did to help me survive, I'm just in awe. So there's that greater appreciation, and there's the desire and the wish for continued healing. And so when I notice that I have parts that are squabbling to really polarized and can't stand each other, I know that I can go in there and self and that we will figure it out. And that I know once we figure it out, there's going to be a greater level of internal peace. There's going to be cohesion between my inside matching my outside. So there's not a downside to going inside, and I'm no longer afraid of it. And my parts, even the ones that are squabbling and may seem to hate each other, there's still a level of trust that when I go in there and self, there's a trust already there that they know, okay, Allison's here. Okay, let's see what we can figure out, because they know that I got it. They know that I have them. I'm not going to pick sides. I'm going to listen to both sides, and then we can figure this out.
There is a skill set that can be developed around going inside.
Yep, for sure.
We can't expect ourselves to go inside and get these big aha, life-changing insights the first one or two times that we try it. It would be like expecting yourself to hop on a bicycle for the very first time ever because you read a book and know how to do it. You can't learn to ride a bike by reading a book.
It's like climbing Mount Everest. Do your analogy of riding a bike or trying something where you are starting from a beginner and you're comparing yourself to a professional.
So going inside requires a development of skill.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the better you get at it. And that's been my experience, and that's been yours. So that now you and I both have the capacity, if we have parts that are activated, rather than just trying to find workarounds and accommodations and waiting it out or trying to get the world to change out there, we know that we can go inside, take whatever time it takes, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour, spend time with our parts, see what's happening in there. By the way, IFS provides a model for how to go inside.
Right. I think that's one of the things that was healing for me about IFS was discovering self-energy, that part of me that truly was not damaged, that could hold it all, that was connected to the divine. So you get connected to the greater unconscious, using Jungian's phrase. So there's this something about you're connected to something larger than you, and you also have that in you. There's something that's really magical about that for me, and very comforting, and it provides the bedrock and for healing, like true healing. Don't you find those exile parts, those parts that hold the trauma, that normal therapy, whatever Byron Katie, cognitive behavioral therapy, whatever it is, from my experience, you're strengthening your managers. You're not really dealing with the exile. I had my first therapist, which I still love him to death, but he didn't like my little 8-year-old girl. He wished she would go away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I was on board with him for a while, even though I felt inside that it seemed harsh, but that was the adversarial relationship. These spoiled young children that are ruining your life, just get rid of them rather than just exile them even more, because they're ruining your life, versus, which is why I had to do a lot of work with my exiles, because they didn't trust me in writing this, because I wanted to get rid of them for a while. I wonder if one of the ways you can go inside is by a provocative question.
Yes, absolutely. That's what.
If you're just trying to figure it out, that's one of the ways that you can help yourself go inside, is that kind of question that forces you to think. It jars you enough that it takes you out of that automatic thought pattern that we all get into because it's comfortable.
Ooh, automatic thought pattern. That's why we wouldn't go inside, is because the thoughts are all automatic. Not all thoughts are automatic, though. Some thoughts are intentional. So there's a lot of automatic thinking. Automatic thinking means we've already decided enough, and then provided enough evidence around what we've already decided that it becomes a thought habit. And thought habits turn into beliefs. Beliefs are automatic thinking.
Yep.
Thoughts that come from beliefs are automatic thinking.
The reason why it helps you go inside is because it interrupts that whole cycle.
That's right. It asks you to question what you've already decided is true and didn't even know you did decide was true.
So I'm going to do a little jump on that one. Imagery can also help you go inside. If you're a visual person like I am, somebody sitting you down and saying, okay, so imagine this place. Imagine what would be a safe space. That's also a really cool way of going inside for people.
Yeah,
I think
that's great.
for people with trauma like me, that was really helpful to create a safe space. Okay, so you're in your safe spot. Now, can you imagine or can you be with this?
In order to imagine something, we actually have to tap into and access a resource that's only inside.
Exactly. It's only inside in that part of your brain that holds the trauma too. But anyway,
we could be watching a movie together on TV or at the movie theater, and our imagination is deeply engaged, whether even if we're not consciously aware of it. But if we tap into that imagination intentionally, now we're going inside with intention.
Yeah.
And that's the skill that needs to be developed. Aware. Many times with my clients, especially my new clients that aren't accustomed to going inside yet, I walk them through a training process. And between sessions, I ask them to be deliberately and intentionally aware of a specific thing.
Nice. Yeah.
Notice, for example, notice how often this feeling that you came to me today to talk about to my client, notice how often this feeling occurs to you over the course of a day and a week. And what I would like you to do is just take some notes about it. Here's the date. Here's the time. This is what was happening. And this is what I felt. And let's just see between today and next Tuesday when we meet again, how many times that happens and under what circumstances you find it happening.
Nice. Yep.
Awareness dial got turned way up. They come back, and here's one of the two things that's going to happen. They come back and they say, oh my God, that was happening 4, 5, 6 times a day. Or they're saying, what did you ask me to do?
Yeah.
And isn't that interesting? They left the session saying, yes, absolutely, I'm going to do that. That's a great idea. I'm convinced that turning up my awareness is a step in the direction of going inside, and that going inside is a step in the direction of healing. And that healing means becoming whole again. And I want to become whole again. So I'm going to do my homework. And they come back and they say, what did you say to do again? Now, so what do? I need to fire them as a client, right? No, I need to help them to become aware that something they were so on fire about doing a week ago, the minute they walked out of my office or the minute we ended the Zoom call, they forgot that they were going to do that. Now, why would that happen?
Yeah.
Here's why.
Curious. Let's get curious about why that would happen. Yeah.
Here's why. Because there's cognitive dissonance. I love
exactly.
that.
Yeah, no, it is. And it can make you crazy, or it can just totally blink you out. Like pretty soon for the cognitive dissonance, then you just forget the piece of you that would have been in that uncomfortableness. Oh, that's Bill wanted me to do this. That makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm not going to do it.
My joy comes from working with clients who are a good match for me. They're here for coaching. They're here to get results and change in their life. They're not here to be told what to do, to be handheld, and they're not here to heal through therapy. They're a good fit for me. If I can get curious, if I can develop the ability to go inside, get curious about those voices or those parts of me that have these opposing positions, maybe even polarized positions, or just difference in opinions. Right. If I can figure out a way to resolve that inner conflict so that those voices can finally be quiet because they're content and satisfied that whatever they were concerned about now is being addressed, then that gives me access to clarity from my true authentic self. When the voices are going, I'm being influenced by them. But when they rest and relax because I've addressed their needs and concerns, then I can access the resources that are available only as my true authentic self. And those resources include creativity, courage, confidence, which is what I came to IFS for in the first place, compassion. It goes on and on. Persistence, playfulness, perseverance, all that. I don't even have access. The best I can do if I'm not being my true authentic self is pretend to have those qualities.
Yeah, which is work. So it's a lot of work, man. So you're draining your capacity. You're living from a place where your parts are running the show. Your capacity goes down and down. So pretty soon there's nothing left for you to give. It
becomes this desperate struggle with hopelessness and powerlessness.
Yes. Yeah.
Because there's nothing left to draw.
So there's one of the benefits of going inside. the juxtaposition of where I started from with trauma and not being able to go inside, not being able to be with all of the different voices and all those different parts of me, and how my life was just depressed, horrid. It was horrid. There was no connection with myself at all. To fast forward to now, where now I live from a place, for the most part, of real of peace, cohesion, and a sense of knowing who I am. The value of going inside is to help those conversations, those disagreements, those wars, help those parts of me, help the stories behind the warring factions to come together and see that we're actually all are on the same team. We're on the same team. And so if we can come in, if I can go inside and I can help those parts of me understand that, hey, number one, I love you. I got your back from self. And let's figure this out together because, oh my God, we could do so much cool things.
A couple of words that jumped out at me there: cohesion and connection. If we don't know a way to mediate internal conflict, we cannot connect with ourselves. We're
Or others.
life from the inside out, disconnected.
Yeah. Or from other people. I also never felt connected to the people in my world. I truly did not know what it felt like to be loved. I could not take that in.
How could you?
How
If,
could I?
if you're
Exactly.
disconnected from yourself, how could you
Right.
build connection from others?
You can't. You
And,
can't.
and you know who the only people that you're going to feel comfortable relating to then are people that are disconnected.
Exactly. That's your tribe. People who are disconnected, you're all running around. You understand each other from a place of disconnection.
When we are connected on the inside, we can find people to connect to on the outside.
Perfect. Yes.